Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk on WCOBM. I'm Melissa Wiggins, your host, and I am joined today by Ms. Cherie Cornell, who is no stranger to us. She is the Executive Director and founder of the Real Talk Youth Impact Program. Welcome to our show today. Cherie, welcome back in the studio.
Thank you, Melissa, for having me again.
Let's start by talking stats, because you have moved so many kids through this program at this point.
Yes.
How many have you been able to service? And talk about the numbers, too, as far as community kids, court-ordered kids. What's going on with the numbers?
Yeah, there's been a huge transition from the previous years, and ideally my ultimate goal, Melissa, was to go preventative versus reactive, and we are still climbing in that area, which is a great thing, because obviously the goal is to catch them before they hit the system. So right now we have over 1,291 kids through the program, and we have 732 graduates thus far, which gives us a 57% graduation rate. And with that being said, we have the kids from the courts, and then we also have the kids from the community, and we have diversion kids. And diversion court kids are essentially pooled into the community kids because they haven't officially been adjudicated. So if we wanted to really split hairs and research purposes, we can combine the community kids with the diversion court kids. So overall, we have a general number that we're working with right now, and it's over 426, I believe, community kids. So we've surpassed the amount of court-ordered kids as we're speaking right now, and it's really interesting because it's almost like the bell graph sometimes. I'll get court-ordered kids, and then I'll get just a handful of community kids referred. But over the last couple of months, at least from the beginning of June, I started to get more kids from the community.
Why do you think those numbers are growing?
I think it's probably a couple of reasons. One is it's summertime, and parents want to make sure that kids are involved in something positive, and word of mouth, people are hearing more about the program and what we do in sponsoring kids with the activities. So I think some of that has to deal with it, as well as the exposure we've been getting, from the media, also exposure from just schools, word of mouth, and other people who come to the program and see what we're doing and continue to share the program, and the graduates and the parents.
Absolutely. Talk about what the kids can expect from the start of the program to the finish when there is a Change One ceremony. What can they expect to take away from it? Yes. What are they participating in exactly?
Well, sometimes these kids, they come through, number one, in particular with the court-ordered kids, they have a little chip on their shoulder, and they have no idea what they're getting ready to get into unless their parents have researched when the judge orders them to the program. And I probably gather 1% of those parents even go to the website to see what they're getting ready to get involved in, which is unfortunate, because when they get there, they're a little bit upset because they're required to stay for the parent group. So the kids generally don't exactly know, or they may hear something like, well, you're going to go to this program and you're going to listen to people who've been to prison to talk to you. And the majority of the times, those type of kids, they don't want to hear that. It's like, whatever, I'm not going to be like them, is the MO. So they have no clue exactly what the program involves. They don't understand there's 3 levels of the program. You have the beginning, you have the middle portion, and you have the third portion, which is you graduate and you get your certificate. In the beginning, you sign up, you come to the program, you can sign up for a paid activity as long as you have that 2.0 with passing grades, you remain in compliance, and you give us a nice thank you letter expressing gratitude. And so and the program is free. And so when they come in not knowing exactly what the program is about, this is where the chip gets even bigger, because they don't feel they need to be here. Although you committed a juvenile act, I don't need to be here. And the parents are the same way. But when they get in, and even the parents, after some tussling, or some of them just do not want to be bothered because they're not the person in trouble. And I always have to remind them, I'm not in trouble either, and this is my program, and as a matter of fact, I don't even get paid for what I'm doing. So I'm here to try to help you save your child.
What's the general feedback that you're getting? Because you do allow them to have that input. So what are you hearing from the kids that have been through the program, or while they're actually experiencing the program?
The interesting thing is we do a pre and post survey. And that's because I want to show the world that it is being effective. It's our own research. But UNLV did the study last year, and they completed it, and it did reflect that we were reducing recidivism with Clark County juvenile courts. So the pre-surveys that the kids fill out, and even some of the community kids, because they're a little apprehensive, their parents are the ones that pretty much did a little bit more research or heard about it word of mouth from other people who've been there, and can get and discover that there are funds available for their children to come through. So the surveys from the kids through the court system are just really short answers, no, yes, and then the IDK, which drives me nuts, the texting lingo on the surveys, but it's very vague. And then you have some of the kids from the community who will express themselves a little bit more, because we do a qualitative study and we do a quantitative study. And the qualitative is more in depth. We want to read what's in your mind, so we want you to write it out. And so from that start of the program, or the surveys, that's done at the registration portion when they get there. Then you get to the end of class survey. And I've done this several times over, where I'll take that court-ordered child, I'll take his beginning survey, read that, and then take his end of class survey. Huge difference.
Really?
Absolutely.
So what would be a typical beginning survey?
Questions is, do you have a talent that you don't use? Do you think this program will be effective for you? Do you want to involve yourself in any extracurricular activities? What are you motivated to complete? Are you motivated, or do you have any goals that you've set thus far? So things that you and I, growing up as a young teenager, would start to think about your future. We try to engage those kids to make sure it's time. And even the 8-year-olds, you can start thinking, as we go from 8 to 18. So 8-year-olds in our program, of course they have a little assistance with their parents helping them fill this out. But we still want to know what's on the child's mind, and so from those questions being answered, and then the Likert scale of our quantitative survey, it's either strongly agree, disagree, et cetera, et cetera. And the change that we see from both sections, even in the community kids, from the beginning to the end, it's huge. Because these kids, not only the kids from the community will express that, wow, I learned a lot. I respect my parents more since the program. Have you set your goals now since the program? Are you working on your goals? What did you learn from the program? What was the best thing that you took from the program? And so they'll fill all those sheets out, and then we impute them and get in hopes to get all of the different the scorings of those, and use them for grant purposes.
What kind of activities are they engaging in?
Many. We have to date, because the funds that we give away are restricted funds.
Talk about that, because you've mentioned that before, and people think, all of the funds that are coming into the program are liquid funds for you to use however you want to use it, but that's not the case.
No, it is not. And that, you gave me a loaded question, because I can talk about funds for the next hour.
And I think they need to understand, the importance of this program requires funds for you to be able to support it and continue. So definitely, we want you to elaborate on that.
Absolutely. Bottom line is, help us. We need funds. We have no money, but we have given out, and we haven't even reached our 4 mark. We've been here doing this for 5 years now. It'll be 4 years in November since we actually started receiving restricted funds, which basically means if Miss Melissa wanted to donate $1,000 to our program, but she says, I only want it to go to the kids' activities, that money goes into a different pool. So I cannot take any money from that restricted pool fund to bring over here to pay for our our monthly bills. So we've given away over the last 3.5 years $64,666 to kids' activities.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money, and we have no money. So $64,000 to over 120 kids' activities. And those kids who come through the program, once they're funded, see, because the thing is, some people think, I have to wait till I graduate to get funded. No, that's not the case. We want you to come in and get started immediately, so we can keep you from entering the different sectors of making bad choices. Because you have to go home. So we can tell you 3 stories from our members who've been there, done that, been in the institution, be it the federal system, the state system. They can share their story with you. And then we have our closing speaker, who can be anyone from the community who hasn't been arrested, share their testimony, how they evolved as a doctor, as a business owner, as a computer tech. They share their stories. So after that hour of discussion, hour and a half, because the program is about 4 hours long, we have to send the kids home. So you can tell a child all the do's and the don'ts, just like a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Even my children.
Absolutely.
No, you can't because of this. No, you can't because of that. This, that, and the other. But they still have to leave my house and make their own choices.
Exactly.
So we can share all this information with our kids in the program, but they still have to go home. Mom still has to deal with some of the drama that they have with their children, because a lot of times the parents, and I've seen this I've talked to some of the parents after the program, and I've seen it on paper. Well, they'll say, "Oh, he hasn't changed a bit. He's still doing the same thing. He's still hanging out with the same people. Blah 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 blah." But they want Real Talk to fix something in 4 hours. Let me just back it up. 12 hours, because it's 3 times. In 12 hours, where you've created this monster for 11 years.
And all you can do is really plant that seed and hope that that seed continues to blossom.
Yes, that's the key. And I sleep well at night. I've given these kids, the bottom line is, I'm trying to take away their excuses. Because you'll hear, well, I want to do basketball, but I don't have the funds. My mother works or she doesn't work. Well, I want to do this, but I don't have the funds. Well, I want to have this, but I don't have the funds. So we're going to give you options, number one. We're going to expose you to the do's and don'ts, because y'all know you're sick of hearing it from your mom. So I'm going to put you in front of another 15 members who've been there, done that don't know you from Adam, but they're telling you the same thing your mom is telling you, but you'll listen to them more than you listen to her or your daddy.
Of course.
And that's fine, and sometimes I tell the parents, look, stop talking to them, because they're sick and tired of hearing from you. So you step away and just bring them to our program. It's okay. It's not that you're a bad parent. You do have some terrible parents out there, but you also have some good parents. It's just that your child, as I say all the time, every child is at risk, mine included. No one's exempt from getting arrested. So when my kids are acting up, okay, because I know there's a point in time where they're not going to listen to me anymore, and I'm truly okay with Miss Melissa stepping in and saying, you know what, listen, you guys, here's the reasons why you should do this, that, and the other. And you share your testimony with them. They may receive it better from you, because they get tired of me going after them.
True.
So this is the bigger picture of the program, and this is what I try to share with the parents from the court system. This is what I try to share with the parents who are from the affluent community, because people believe that kids who are in the system have more problems than the people who aren't in the system, and that's not true.
What do the kids have to do to be able to partake in the activities? What do you require of them?
All they have to do, and like I said, they can come into our program once a month. They come, they sit in the program, and it's for 3 months. All they have to do is sign up for an activity. We have an activity referral sheet that they can all sign up for. As long as our funds are available, we will continue to give out money.
And what are some of these activities they can take advantage of?
We've been paying, like, for instance, we have two kids or 3 kids in our program we've been paying for over 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And see,
what's the cutoff point?
There is not a cutoff
That's
point.
great.
That's the whole idea, because here's how it operates. When they first get into our program, let's say you have a child that wants to do boxing, or he's very angry, she's very angry, and that's what they want to do. They want to beat up on people. That's fine. I always tell them, do something that's positive. You're angry, you want to beat up people, go do it and become a boxer, a professional boxer, and get paid for it. So you want to exert some of that negative energy, let's get you signed up. So we sign that child up. All they have to do is at 2.0 with passing grades. They remain in compliance, and we start to pay the vendor. Now, that child's boxing for the 3 months he's in our program. And then he says, Miss Cherie, I'm graduating this month. Coming up, I want to continue boxing. We don't have the money, but I'm graduating. How do you guys still pay for that?
Uh-huh.
Yes, we do. As long as that child comes back once a month to volunteer in our program, at our meeting, the first Tuesday of the month, we will continue to pay for that child to be a boxer.
Who are some of your collaborators right now?
We have, there's a couple of them. We have the mentoring program, because we don't mentor. That's not our goal. We give information to the children, and mentoring for us and getting all of our members involved, it's too much of a liability for me. At this point, But we do communicate with or collaborate with Coach Williams.
Okay.
He is Iron Sharpens Iron mentoring. So we're just this piece of the pie in the community, and that's what I always share to everybody. I don't want to try to do everything, so I want these collaborators to come to me. You know, we just signed up with, we were collaborating also with Four Corners with a good friend of mine who was actually a student of mine when I was teaching at the University of Phoenix. She has a literacy program, you know, and she tutors. So we're going to be collaborating with her.
Yeah, and we hope to have her on the show sometime
Absolutely.
really soon.
Yes, I believe next month, hopefully. We also collaborate with Turning Point Nevada. It's drug and alcohol counseling. It's free. It's for parents and the children. We collaborate with YCB Behavioral Services. We collaborate with all of people who've been through our program and they have an activity or a official program that they want to have us and our kids get involved in. I try to bring them close because when we're there, the parents need more than Real Talk.
Sure.
So we try to resource out and let them know that these are available here for you to take advantage of. And we will pay for the child's mentoring. We won't pay for, you know, obviously classes for the kids to sign up for college and things like that, but we will offer payment to help them for their applications. We will offer payment for them to take the ACT or their SAT test if they don't have the funds or if the schools don't have the funds.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so we try and make sure that we have things readily available because I don't want to hear excuses.
And I know we've talked about this before, but proper parenting is key here.
Yes.
How are you engaging the parents to interact with the kids through the program?
Sure.
And what advice are your members giving the parents?
You know, we've received quite a bit of very, very good comments from the parent group, and we have that is mandatory. They can come. It's a 3-month-long program, but they're only required to come to 2 meetings, one being the first, and that's our parent group.
Mm-hmm.
The third meeting is when the kids graduate, so we want them to be a part of this celebration. So during the parent group, it's just a platform. We have we're now at about 40 parents a month, and we have 3 of our speakers, 2 males and a female. That whole room is about the parents, and then my guys and girls give them advice, things to look at, things to maybe alter. I call them doctorates of the streets. Because they've already been there and done that, and they have parents. They open it up to the parents and say, hey, here's what we do, here's what we are. We're not therapists. We do have a doctorate psychologist there to monitor the whole thing, because we're not therapists, and we want to make sure in case someone, you know, gets offended or what have you, know, we have somebody to jump in and intercede. So, but they're offered the opportunity after my men and women discuss this with, you know, saying who we are and our background. We offer to the parents, talk to us. What's going on? Let us give you some information. And they start opening up. It might take a little parent a couple of times to hear things before they jump in. But then when it gets going, it really gets going. And then our members just react to their questions.
Who are some of your corporate supporters on the funding end?
Well, we have a couple of them, but mostly we have, as far as restricted funds, we have Los Vaqueros, who's been donating to us since November 2014.
Wow.
And they've given us over $40,000 in kids' activities.
Very generous.
Yes, absolutely. So they continue to give us $10,000 a year. And we have just recently had Centennial Toyota. They gave us $5,000 in January. We just actually presented them a plaque at our meeting on Tuesday to advise them, you know, with gratitude and thank you. And Mr. Wood, Anthony Wood, very, very nice man. He said that he was going to see about getting us more funds. So we're looking forward to seeing how he can bring that together. And then Finley Chevrolet, who's been very generous with promoting us, video, and raising funds for us on the Channel 5 news station, where they had that. We ended up getting $8,600, I believe, last July from the fundraiser on Channel 5. So we're still looking for more, though. So we definitely need more money, because right now, Melissa, we are currently operating under $15,000 a year to service all of these kids.
You're a magician.
I think I like to call it pixie dust and tell my kids, you think this pixie dust, you can fix everything? No, but it's, you know what, sometimes I don't even think about the numbers and the monies, because it always seems to just work out, you know. But I don't want to just to work out, you know. I need staff. It's. I tell people all the time. There's only 3 people that run and operate this program: me, myself, and I, and we're all tired.
Well, we're gonna take a short break, but we're gonna be right back. We want to talk about you going over state lines,
Yes.
and the community attention that you've been receiving recently. So
Yes.
stay with us. We'll be right back.